Very simply, Jim, how much are you looking forward to the proper stuff starting this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's came around really quickly. To be honest, we've just in this part of our fourth week of pre-season, and this cup competition certainly does come upon you pretty quickly. I think most teams out there at every level will be a little bit underprepared for it in terms of fitness levels and in terms of recruitment still to be done, but it's certainly one that gets the players' minds focused very early. Competitive competition, one that we want to do well in. We didn't do well in it last season, and it set a bit of a negative tone early on, whereas this time round I think we're certainly better prepared in terms of the recruitment that we've done, and very exciting game to look forward to. Falkirk, obviously great success last season. Our manager, who I've got huge respect for there, in John McGlynn, and we're expecting a very, very difficult fixture.
I mean, you mentioned how the League Cup campaign last season perhaps set a negative tone. How important is it that you can get the positive result and set the positive tone for the new campaign?
Well, yeah, I think games like this, when you've got 4 games in the space of 2 weeks in what is pretty much still pre-season for us and a lot of the other teams as well, you can get a lot of good momentum and get a lot of positivity around the place, not just with the supporters but with the group here as a whole. It's about trying to build confidence. A lot of new players within the squad, still wanting to get the grips with each other in terms of knowing each other's games, and I think competitive games are the best place for that to happen. So we're very optimistic about it, but still very respectful of the opposition. We will be favourites in our group, no doubt, being the Premier League team, but there's a lot of league winners within our group, and you look at the likes of Falkirk and Stenhousemuir, and even Bucky Thistle had a great campaign as well last season, and obviously Scott Brown's done a great job at Ayr United in the summer with the players that he's signed. So it is certainly probably the toughest group within this stage of the competition, but it's a great opportunity for the new players to go and show the supporters why we brought them to the club, and a great opportunity for us to try and get off to a good start on Saturday first and foremost, but then look towards getting into the latter stages of this competition.
And it's a tough start as well. I mean, Falkirk had a wonderful season last season, and they're a team that people are already talking about could be in the promotion mix from the championship this time round.
I would certainly put Falkirk up there as playoff contenders in the championship. No doubt about it. They've got real momentum behind them. They're a group of players that have been together for a considerable period of time. John McGlynn has got them playing a really good style of football as well. They're very, very organised, and I've no doubt that they will be one of the form teams in the championship next season. But it's about focusing on ourselves. It's obviously about respecting the opposition and doing our homework on them. But I do believe if we play to the levels that we are capable of and what we have seen here in pre-season at this early stage, then I think we'll give ourselves a good chance.
You've been pretty active in the transfer window. How many more new faces are you looking to bring in, and are you close to bringing any more in?
To be active, we're still a little bit light in certain areas of the squad. We want to have competition in all areas, and I think that's healthy for the group, and particularly for this cup competition when you've got 4 games in the space of 2 weeks, and games of real significance and importance. We need to make sure that we're as best prepared as we can be, and I do definitely think we are better prepared for this League Cup group stage than what we were this time last season. So we're very optimistic about it. We're looking forward to it, but we know that we have to perform well in each game in order to get the result that we need.
Are you close to bringing any more new faces in, or is it about playing the long game almost?
Well, I think we've done, when I look around at other teams in the Premier League and even out with the Premier League, I think we've done a lot of good work up to now, and half a dozen new signings in the door already. And obviously we're still wanting to add to that, and we have got discussions with a couple of players at the moment, but nothing to be confirmed yet. Until they're signed on that dotted line and in the door, then you don't want to take anything for granted. But I think it's credit to the recruitment department and to the club as a whole for how well organised we've been going into this transfer window. We've put ourselves in a good position. We've got guys in early. We can get them up to speed, get the fitness levels where they need to be, and integrate them into the squad. And we don't want to put too much pressure on the new guys' shoulders who are coming in, particularly the foreign lads. But we're hoping that they all hit the ground running and get off to a positive start on Saturday.
And just finally, any team news? Are you taking a clean bill of health into your first competitive game?
Yes, we're in good shape. We've got a really good squad to choose from. We've had a few of the younger academy players in with the squad from day one of pre-season, and a couple of them have really shone at times, and they've given themselves a position to stake a claim as well. So we're in a good place, I think. Certainly not going to be crying about numbers and the volume of players that we have, because I know that there'll be some part-time teams out there that'll be thinking it's a bit rich coming from me when I've got probably 20 players to choose from and they maybe only got 12 or 13. So we're in a good place, we're very positive, and we're looking forward to it.
How well do you feel pre-season has been? You've had some friendlies that have all resulted in positive results, and how well do you feel that your new signings have fitted into the squad?
Well, we've been delighted with pre-season as a whole. Very well planned out by the medical team and the sports science team, and we've managed to come through it pretty much unscathed in terms of injuries, which is the most important thing. The guys enjoyed a good break in the summer, and I think when they came back in, they were all really looking forward to getting going again. The friendlies that we had, all very positive, plenty of things within it that we have to work on and we have to improve on. Defensively, we've not conceded a goal in those friendlies, albeit some of them against lower league opposition. But in terms of the patterns play in the forward areas that we've been working on, that we've been looking at, we've definitely seen a number of those in those games. And the top end of the pitch, it's just about these new players getting an understanding, and hopefully the goals will flow in the weeks to come.
There's been mention of your interest in North Macedonia player David Babinski, if I've pronounced that correctly. Can you tell us anything about that at all?
Well, he's a very good player, and he's one who I've known for a number of years, and David, among a number of other players, are players that we're looking at and speaking to at the moment, but I don't have anything further to add to that at this time.
So nothing immediate on that front?
Nothing immediate.
And going into this run of League Cup games, how much preparation does that give you ahead of the Premiership season starting?
Well, I mean, look, it's competitive football, and as I said, we've been in for a month now in terms of pre-season. We're not where we need to be physically yet in the fitness aspect, but neither will any other team, I think, at this time of the season. But it's it really does switch the players' mindset in terms of getting away from the friendlies and focusing on competitive games. And we've had a meeting to discuss the importance of this competition and what it means to the club, to the supporters, and making sure that we get the points required to get through to the next stage. So I think it's a great competition. It's one that you can definitely build a bit of momentum in and get a bit of confidence early doors, clean sheets, hopefully scoring plenty of goals, and that would hopefully set us up nicely for that league opener against Dundee.
And beyond this cup run, is there targets for the season? Do you have a plan where you would like to be come the end of the season?
I mean, yeah, look, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Obviously, we're an ambitious club. We feel that we're one of the big teams in Scotland, and we have to be optimistic. But at the same time, I think it's important, not to put too much pressure on the group, and just to remind ourselves of where we were last season. We fought hard to win that league and get ourselves back into the Premier League. I think from a league perspective, it's about getting enough points on the board initially to make sure that we retain our Premiership status for next season, and once we do achieve that, then we can start looking for other targets. But right now, the full focus is on the League Cup. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We know that we'll be favourites within our group, but in order for us to get the success that we need to get through this group stage first and foremost. Thanks.
Jack Walton and Dave Richards, you've talked about competition of places. Is that a decision that you've made, or is this what's up for grabs in these League Cup games with who's going to be the number one?
Well, look, Jack Walton was outstanding for his last season. He was the best goalkeeper in the Championship. He's got good experience down the road in England playing League One, and the odd Championship game here and there. And we do feel that getting Jack in was a real coup for us, because he knows the club, he knows the league, and he's very well liked within the group. Obviously, I didn't feel that department was strong enough last season, and bringing Dave in and adding him to the mix has certainly strengthened that particular department. Working closely with Paul Mathers, I think both of them will continue to develop, and as I said to one of the earlier questions, there's real competition for places throughout the squad, and hopefully we'll be able to get everyone valuable minutes in these next 4 games coming up over the next couple of weeks, and then there's a scrap on for every position to see who's got the jersey come that first league game.
None of these 4 games are going to be easy games to play, as you pointed out. It's a Champions League in its own right. But Falkirk they caused you some problems last year. Is that the one up first that's going to give you most problems, you feel, in the group?
Well, as I said, I've got loads of respect for John McGlynn. His attention to detail, he's very meticulous. He seems to know exactly, where the opposition are at. He seems to spend a lot of time on that, nullifying the strengths of the opposition, which is something that they've done very well against us in the Trust Trophy last season at their place. So yes, that's still fresh in our minds. A number of the group that are here with us currently were involved in that particular game, so I don't think there'll be any case of us underestimating the opposition on Saturday. But we do feel that being the Premier League team, the onus is on us to go and show why we are in the league above, and we will give them all the respect that they deserve as an opposition. But if we focus on what we're good at, then hopefully the result will take care of itself.
Do you see any benefit to Dundee United as a club starting in the league in a few weeks' time, having competitive games at this point in the season rather than friendlies?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the League Cup has brought round over the last few years when it was brought in. Some people are for it, some people are against it. I think we'd all probably wish that it wasn't starting for another week or so, just to get that little bit more time in terms of the recruitment and the fitness and getting guys up to speed. But look, it's here, it's on us now, and we have to make sure that we're ready and we're prepared for it. And yeah, I mean, it's a good competition, as I said, to get good confidence within the group, to get some momentum, to carry that on into the league, and to get off to a good start is really important.
Is there anyone in the squad who's particularly impressed you during pre-season?
Well, there's been a number of good younger players who have stepped up from the academy and have done really well. Sam Harding is a young centre half who we've got real high hopes for. Brandon Forbes has played a very important role throughout the course of pre-season as well. I think those two deserve a mention. But yeah, I mean, look, you can see the quality that the new guys are going to bring to the group. Ryan Strain, I think, has probably been one of the most consistent players in the Scottish Premiership over the last couple of seasons in that particular position. Trapanovsky's brought real quality to the top end of the pitch. Will Ferry, a player I know loads about, having tried to get him a few years ago when I was at St Mirren. So I think the new guys have added real quality, and I think the standards off the back of those new guys coming in has just raised the bar for everybody across the group. But yeah, I mean, there's been good individual performances in pre-season, but it's all about me trying to get the ideas across to the players of what we're looking for, both transitions of having the ball and not having the ball, and then seeing those things being implemented in the games, and hopefully we'll see a better understanding of that starting against Falkirk on Saturday.
First and foremost, just tell us how you're feeling about the proper action starting this weekend.
Just looking forward to it. It'd be good to actually finally get started, and something feels a bit more real when it's competitive. So it'll be good. We know it's going to be a hard game, but it'll be good to hopefully get off to a good start and get a bit of momentum going.
How important is it that you do get off to a really positive start, because that can set the tone, can't it?
Yeah, it can. We've done a lot in training. We like to think that it'll come out positive on the pitch. I mean, can't always guarantee it. If something doesn't go to plan, we're not gonna sulk. But it'll be really good to get off to a good start, and like I said, take it forward and take that momentum into the next game, and then hopefully we're flying by the time we get to the first game of the league.
There's been quite a few changes in personnel over the last couple of months here. A few players have left, a number came in. You were the first of the summer signings, I believe. First of all, how much are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm buzzing, to be fair. Like, I've enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. As much as training's been hard, I've been going home happy. Just buzzing to be here. Can't wait to get going. Honestly, it sounds a bit cliche, but I'm enjoying it so much. Honestly,
just tell us a bit about why you felt this was the right move for you.
It's a big stage to kind of show what you're about. There's lots of coverage, there's lots of eyes on the games, on the league. There's big teams, there's big clubs that you're going to be challenging yourself against. It's just something that I've always wanted to do, watching from afar. it's obviously hard to gauge the type of standard and how it would be to play here, but it's something I've always wanted to do. So came in, and I don't think there was any doubt about turning it down and going somewhere else. So honestly, proper excited to just get on with it, really.
How big a step up do you think this will be?
Who knows? I can see the standards really high in training. Like I said, there's big clubs. I played against big clubs in League One, but it's hard to kind of gauge the difference. But everyone knows it's a tough league, and it's unforgiving in terms of you've got to be on it every game, and you can't exactly take your foot off the gas in any of them. So it'll be good for myself to test myself and see where I'm at, and I like to think I'll contribute positively.
That's a 3-year deal, isn't it? I mean, that's obviously good from your point of view, a bit of security, but it's also good because to be given a 3-year deal shows that the manager's got huge belief in what you can do.
Yeah, that was massive for me, and when I was signing, just feeling like I'm believed in by the gaffer, by the club. They've given me, like I said, an opportunity to come and prove myself, so I've got to repay the favour. They've given me that belief with the 3 years, and now hopefully I come here and have the best 3 years of my career.
You've represented the Republic of Ireland, is that right? At under 19 and
19s and 21s,
19s
yeah.
and 21s. Do you think that this move potentially could help your aspirations of breaking into the senior squad?
Could do, yeah. There's obviously, like I said, there's lots of eyes, and you get a good bit of recognition in this league. So hopefully I play well and some recognition comes. Obviously I've got to play well first. I've got to perform, but I think it's definitely a good stage to catch some attention and maybe get rewarded for it.
And obviously the club football is the focus, but is that something that's at the almost at the back of your mind? And would that be the dream for you?
Yeah, honestly, playing for Ireland at 9s and 21s are the best times of my life in terms of going away, with boys that you've been with for a while. So I'd honestly be a dream to do it again, but at a senior level. So I'm hoping I impress, and you never know. We'll see what happens.
How much, how have you settled into life here in Scotland and into the squad?
Yeah, I feel pretty settled. I think even after the first day, I felt like it was normal being here. I knew one of the boys from a few different connections, so I felt pretty settled as soon as I came into the change room. And it is a really good, again, as cliche as it is a really good change room. So I didn't feel like a newcomer straight away. I felt like I was part of it, so I feel pretty settled. I'm loving life.
And what do you make, or what are you expecting from the standard here in this league compared to what you've been used to before?
I think it's going to be relentless in terms of it's physical. It's going to be difficult. You're facing lots of different teams. There's every game's going to be a different challenge in terms of formations. One team might be a bit more physical. Some might play a bit more football, but it's about adapting, and I like to think that we're working on that and how we approach different games. So I think it's just being adaptable and being a bit more, maybe a bit more, what would the word be? A bit more consistent in terms of keeping levels up, and you can't, like I said, you can't slack and take your foot off the gas because you'll get punished for it.
And how's pre-season been? Obviously you've got a run of League Cup games coming up. How well prepared do you feel as a squad for that?
Yeah, we're all ready to go. I think we've had a good 3-4 weeks of solid work. We all feel fit. We've worked on a good bit of tactical stuff, and it's kind of pre-season's one of those where I don't think many like it, but you've got to get through it, and this is why, because then you get to these points now, and you get to prove yourself in the game. So I think that's definitely what I'm looking forward to, is proving myself and showing the hard work that we've done the past 3-4 weeks.
And has the manager set a target for the season? What's the aim this season?
Aim is just go and finish as high as we can. Obviously we're a new team coming up, so we're gonna. First thing is stay in the league. That's obviously a massive thing, but that's not where we want to stop, and that's something where we want to push higher and see where we go. We've got a good squad. We've got a good team, so it'll be good.
And the pre-season games that you've had so far have all went well?
Yeah, they've all been good. It's mainly about fitness, really. So we've all got through that without any injuries off the top of my head. So yeah, it's set us well to go into these cup games and hopefully start well.
Okay, when the name Dundee United was first put to you, what was the first thing that came into your head?
Well, one of my best mates in football used to play here, so I've followed them for a while. I've obviously know about the history and everything that comes with it, with the European nights, and the history comes with that. Just big club. That's something that I couldn't turn down, because to play for a big club and big crowds and big games, that's as cliche as it is again. That's what you dream as a kid. It'll be a really proud moment to hopefully play in those big games for such a big club.
How would you compare the standard of football in League One in England to what you've seen of the Scottish Premier League?
League One's a hard one. It's honestly, it's non-stop. It's you don't get to train much. You don't get to work much on the training ground. It's kind of just a constant grind. I feel like here you might have a bit more chance, to work on the training ground. In terms of the quality and standard, who knows? That's something I really want to gauge and test myself. But it's obviously going to be a very good standard. With big teams all making signings, all looking to improve. It'll be a very good test.
Looking at the cup competition that we're coming into now, pre-season for a lot of people in the past, probably for yourself, this is hitting the ground running. You're sitting in that group as the top seed in that group, where you're going to be the target that everybody else is aiming for.
Yeah.
How difficult is that for you to come into?
It's just part of being here. Obviously, a big club. We're not taking any of it lightly. We're going to take everything seriously and do everything right. With Falkirk are obviously a good team, and they had an amazing season last season, and I like to think they're probably pushing to go again. So we've done all our work, focused on ourselves. We've obviously going to respect the opposition, and we've done our work on them. But it's just about getting going, and putting all our work from the training ground into the games, and just hopefully come out the blocks fine.
And looking at the game against Falkirk, you're going to an artificial surface at the Falkirk Stadium. What's your experiences with artificial surfaces?
I don't have any. I don't think I trained a lot of last year on it, but in terms of games, I don't think I actually have any. They'll be interesting, but like I said, we train, and through as a kid you're always training on AstroTurf and artificial, whatever you call it. So we've got to be adaptable. It's all what football's about, isn't it? So we can't use it as an excuse or anything like that. We've just got to go there and do a job and what we want to go and do.